Good morning.
Morning, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about what it means to be authentic. And Tara and I both come from a journey of spirituality where we both felt a lot of pressure externally and within our own beings to be the ideal woman and to be perfect and, you know, to always be compassionate and nurturing and forgiving and speaking with the right tone of voice and with lots of love, and all beautiful practices that we both learned a lot from. But equally, we learned a lot from Tantra and honoring the darker energies. So the light feminine is so beautiful, and so is the dark feminine. The dark feminine is the place within us, within men and women, who feels the darker, denser energies, who falls apart, who's wild, who feels frustrated sometimes, angry sometimes, horny sometimes. You know, she's the Lilith that was made to leave the Garden of Eden because she followed her desires and was replaced with Eve. And really, we want to encourage all of you to find this space of deeper authenticity or deeper wholeness that's possible when you start to feel the dark feminine. And, you know, the dark feminine, she's a whole thing in her own right. And Ignite Your Power, one of our online courses, if you want to explore it deeper and learn how to transmute anger into power and feel the full force of the dark feminine enter your life, then that's 50% off at the moment. Do that course for sure. But for now, just to simplify, the dark feminine, she has taken the masks off. She's not the good girl anymore. She's not the good boy if you're a man. And really, she says what she thinks. And she says how she feels. And she doesn't modify her behavior because she's afraid of losing love. Because the dark feminine within us, the partner to the dark feminine, is the dark masculine. And the dark masculine really takes us into a space of death and being willing to die. Not physical death necessarily, though that as well, but the death of the ego that holds on so tight to control, that holds on so tight to our identity, that holds on so tight to making sure that everything is okay. Yeah, and really, we want to allow ourselves to be fully ourselves to the point that actually the change that you're seeking happens when you stop trying to change and you go, you know what? Fuck it. Every part of me is divine. I am going to live and breathe every part of me. And of course, we still have our light masculine and light feminine, so it's with discernment, and we still are kind and forgiving. I'm not saying not to be that, but be everything. Allow the darkness and the light so that when people meet you, they feel all of you. They feel your depth. And it's not just this meeting of, you know, what can sometimes happen in spiritual communities of, yeah, everything's great, I'm just moving with the flow, and yeah, I just need to do some yoga, and yeah, that's perfect and beautiful at times. And also it's like, I fucking feel like shit and I'm angry, and what I need is more presence or whatever it is that's moving through you. Can you be authentic in that? In that space of becoming more authentic, we naturally start to dissolve the fear of losing love. We naturally start to deal with the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, and we come to a deeper space of really loving ourselves, and being true to ourselves actually becomes more important than caretaking the rest of the world.
And it's an energy of, this is who I am. Without shame, without guilt, and completely unapologetic. And what I've noticed in my own life and people who work with us is there are so many layers of masks and suppression of who we really are, where the throat gets blocked, the heart gets blocked, and it's like, but I can't share this part of myself with people, otherwise I won't be loved. And it's so thick in the psyche, and it's like layers that I've had to shed to get to the place where I love myself enough and validate myself enough now that my expression is worthy of being shared in the world. And if the people who supposedly love me can't handle that, then it wasn't love in the first place. And it's just, you know, it's like the ways that we modify ourselves to be around people, because our mind goes, well, if we present this part of ourselves, then we're going to receive love and validation. The dark feminine doesn't give a fuck about what people thinks about her. What she gives a fuck about is what's alive in her body, and that she's staying true to herself in her expression, in her actions, in her words, and in her deeds.
And sometimes, you know, that energy means that we don't do what's expected of us. That if we feel like being quiet, we're quiet. If we feel like not interacting, we don't interact. You know, it's not always out. I find sometimes, you know, in my journey, the hardest places I've gone to is when I haven't wanted to connect, and then I feel bad for that. And it's like, actually, it's okay to not want to connect. It's okay to not want to communicate. It's okay to be in the darkness right here. And sometimes it's okay to share that darkness. And darkness isn't bad. You know, shadow is something we want to integrate because it's unconscious. Evil has malicious intent, but so often the word dark gets thrown around without an understanding. Darkness is just, it's these lower centers. It's our sexuality, it's our emotional body, it's our wildness, it's our juice. So, yeah, really integrating darkness is difficult in this world because so much of it is mind-based and so much of it is pressure to be in the light. So yeah, if you want to bust out of that, it is quite a journey, and Tantra is a beautiful way to open you to that. Tantra means, one of the meanings is instrument of expansion, and with Tantra we're not trying to be perfect, we're trying to become whole, and the journey into wholeness is embracing every little part of us. So yeah. It's hard to talk about this in such a short amount of time, so if you do want more depth, then take advantage of the 50% off our online courses and journey deeper into that.
And for now, just, you know, when you're having conversations with people, when you're trying to choose what to do next in your day, just check in with yourself and be like, what's authentic for me right now? If I can just take the focus off the external and what my partner's going to think of me, my friend, my parents, a complete stranger, and just be like, what's true for me like right now? And again, it's like one of the greatest acts of self-love you can do, and the energy that you save by just being authentically where you are at, my goodness.
And it requires a pause, you know. It's like, instead of just going into people pleasing right now, instead of making sure someone else is okay, can I pause? What's actually in my authentic joy? What's actually authentic as to what I think about that or feel about that? It's like, say what you think, feel what you're feeling, move, follow your bliss, follow your joy, be real in the energy you're in, and actually, even though you may not give people what they want in that, you're giving them what they need, and they'll actually get to know who you really are. So,
and just one last thing is, by you being authentic, you actually are giving permission for those around you to do the same. Because everyone wants to be authentic and not kind of trapped in their masks and their cage of their expression. But it just takes one person to break out of that, and one person to go, this is how I actually feel. Or if they're happy to roar a laughter in a public space, and it gives other permission for people to feel their joy. So be a leader in authentic expression and feeling.
Laugh out aloud, roar when you need to roar, you know, like just be you. And it's not just in our communication, it's when you're in your room and you're pissed off, like, you know, been talking about letting emotion run, or cry when you're sad, just be where you are. And the gift that you're going to give to people by revealing yourself is much more than any gift you can give them by caretaking. So enjoy the journey into deeper authenticity. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.